Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Bills named top fit for $57.5 million WR after release by Cowboys. After trading away their top wide receiver and watching their number 2 leave in free agency, the Buffalo Bills have some work to do in rebuilding their receiving core. Bills general manager Brandon Beane suggested that the team could be active in free agency after the completion of this month's NFL draft, and one analyst believes a former Dallas Cowboys receiver could be a logical target. Bleacher Report's Matt Holder compiled a list of one free agent for all 32 NFL teams to target, suggesting the Bills look at veteran Michael Gallup after his March release from the Cowboys. Holder stressed that Gallup would not be coming to Buffalo to take over for Stefon Diggs, who served as the team's number 1 receiver for the last 4 seasons. The Bills traded Diggs to the Houston Texans in a surprise move, leaving a gaping hole in their offense. Just weeks before the Diggs trade, the Bills watched number 2 receiver Gabe Davis sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars in free agency. Signing Gallup could help give the Bills a reliable target, Holder wrote. After the Stefon Diggs trade, the Bills could use some help at wide receiver. While Gallup won't replace what Diggs brought to the offense, Buffalo needs to equip Josh Allen with as many weapons as possible to help replicate the 4-time Pro Bowler's production, Holder wrote. Holder added that Gallup would have the chance to compete for a starting spot with the Bills. The 28-year-old receiver joined the Cowboys as a third-round pick in 2018 and had a breakout season in 2019, making 66 catches for 1,107 yards and 6 touchdowns. But Gallup tore his ACL in 2021, then saw a significant dip in production in each of the past 2 seasons. Though he signed a 5-year, $57.5 million contract with the Cowboys, the team ultimately decided to release Gallup in March. Many analysts believe the Bills will not wait until after the NFL draft to start addressing their receiving core. The Athletic's Joe Buscaglia suggested that Beane could trade up in the first round, moving up to the number 7 overall pick to snag LSU pass catcher Malik Nabers. I continue to believe that anything, including a move like this one on draft day, is a real possibility for the Bills, Buscaglia wrote. Bills general manager Brandon Beane has long been an aggressive draft day trader when he's excited about a prospect and how he'd fit their system. Now, with a gaping hole for a top target at wide receiver and where the Bills are in their build, this is the type of move Beane could rationalize as one that puts them over the top for the foreseeable future. Buscaglia suggested that Nabers would give the Bills one of the draft's most talented wide receivers, one who could help to immediately fill the void left by the departure of Diggs. The Bills have one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Josh Allen, a still talented roster around him, and a pretty good idea that they'll be pushing for the playoffs at the very least in 2024, Buscaglia wrote. By arming him with a young receiver with elite potential on a rookie deal for the next 4 years, it gives the Bills a lot of flexibility for how they spend through the duration of the receiver's rookie deal. Micah Parsons' brother says Dallas Cowboys LB going nowhere. Micah Parsons is quite possibly the face of the Dallas Cowboys today, but there seems to be some tension brewing between player and team. Last week, a report emerged that Parsons' antics have worn thin on some members of the organization. The star linebacker is certainly a colorful personality on and off the field, but he's still an all-world player who has had virtually unprecedented success in his first 3 seasons. Some have speculated that leaking such information is a way for the Cowboys to gain leverage in contract negotiations, but bad-mouthing your best defensive player isn't exactly the wisest decision. Even with some signs of tension, it still seems like a long-term extension is the result that both parties want. Parsons' brother, Terrence Parsons Jr., even alluded to that fact in a recent social media post. Terrence, who has a habit of trying to interject himself in the news, is probably right, as most observers think the Cowboys would be absolute fools to let Parsons leave. The number 12 pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, Parsons has been a monster since his arrival in Dallas. The Penn State product has had one of the most prolific starts to his career of any pass rusher, racking up 40.5 sacks in his first 3 seasons. He's also finished top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year voting each season of his career. If the Cowboys are truly fed up with Parsons' behavior, they're either going to have to deal with it or part ways with one of the best defensive players in the league, and there is a right and wrong answer among those two. And as our Mike Fisher has said, if the effort is to get him to focus more on winning rather than on being colorful, the Cowboys should simply instruct him to do that, rather than demonstrating their own absence of focus. Adam Schefter suggests Cowboys could surprise with early quarterback pick. It might be time for the Dallas Cowboys to begin pondering life without Dak Prescott at quarterback. In the aftermath of the Cowboys and Prescott agreeing that the star quarterback would play out the final year of his contract in 2024, ESPN's Adam Schefter suggests that Dallas might select a quarterback in the early rounds of this year's NFL draft. What are they going to do at quarterback if they lose Dak? Schefter said, during an April 9 edition of NFL Live on ESPN. That's interesting. And that's why I think the Dallas Cowboys just might be a sleeper team in the quarterback market in the NFL draft. Because, at some point in time, they might have to draft a quarterback, higher than you'd think, at some point in time, because Dak is going into the last year of the contract, and it might be time to get somebody in there to start grooming. Just like they found Dak Prescott in round 4, it might be time to go find another quarterback, in another round, to begin getting him ready. The Cowboys' offseason and handling of Prescott's contract situation has been an intertangled, perplexing series of events. Rather than signing Prescott to an extension which would have created cap space, the Cowboys have stood pat while only signing Eric Kendricks and Jordan Lewis as outside free agents. Given that Prescott is just 2 to 5 lifetime in the NFL playoffs, and the Cowboys are fresh off getting waxed in the NFC wild card round by the Green Bay Packers, 48-32, perhaps Jerry Jones has at least one eye trained on Dallas' future at quarterback. Neither the Cowboys nor Prescott showed much urgency to come to terms on a reworked deal. Prescott is set to collect a $29 million base salary in 2024, while counting $55.4 million against the cap. As ESPN's Todd Archer points out, the next deadline for the Cowboys and Prescott to come to terms on a deal is March 12, 2025, the 5th day of the new league year. Without a new contract by then, Archer writes, Prescott will count at least $40.46 million against the 2025 salary cap, and he will not be on the Cowboys roster. With a contract done before then, Prescott's cap number will be at least $25 million as a result of the restructures the Cowboys have used on the current deal, including converting his $5 million roster bonus earlier this month. Add in the yearly proration of a new signing bonus plus his base salary, and it's likely Prescott's cap number on an extension will exceed $40 million in 2025. It's difficult to envision the Cowboys paying Prescott that kind of money against the cap to be lining up behind center elsewhere, which makes the organization's posturing around its quarterback this offseason all the more confounding. Especially given the uncertainty surrounding pass rusher Micah Parsons and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb's futures, with both up for extensions. If Prescott plays well in 2024 and leads the Cowboys on a deep playoff run, the 30-year-old will hold even more leverage next offseason and will likely be the most coveted veteran quarterback on the market. Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy is a lame duck in 2024, and Prescott is likely playing for his future. While there is a possibility that Prescott might need to lead the Cowboys to the franchise's first Super Bowl berth this century in order to remain in Dallas, CBS Sports believes the Cowboys could miss the postseason entirely. They've still got elite playmakers on both sides of the ball, but Jerry Jones is all but forcing his quarterback-head coach duo into an ultimatum season, with Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy under pressure to make a deep run, CBS Sports writes. Meanwhile, Prescott's O-line has real questions, the defense has new management, and they've not upgraded skill spots. And you, Fan, what do you think of the situation of Dak Prescott? Leave your opinion in the comments.